Welcome to AW Services YouTube channel.
Welcome to the AW Services YouTube channel. A brief video featuring the Sterling EVP model SS2HIT Siren amplifier. I've been asked by someone if I knew anything about Siren amplifiers. I do. I used to install them along with beacons many years ago, but I have had a little bit of experience with the Sterling. So I've got one, luckily, which I can use for this video. Sterling, unfortunately, went and closed during the pandemic. That's what I've heard on the grapevine. So if you've got one and you've got any paperwork with them, the phone number, the email on them, it's closed. You won't be able to contact them directly, unfortunately. But there are many of these available, between £30 and £50 available on eBay. I see them all the time. Very reliable, very well made, but a little bit bigger than most of the new ones that the Premier Hazards, Federal Signal, all those types of makes. But this one here is the subject of the video. It's a brilliant controller, 3 tones, yelp, high-low and wail. It's also got the PA microphone function on this one, which is quite rare on a lot of the newer ones. So the way it works is you've got 2 connectors on this particular model. You've got your main wire loom connector and you've got your horn connector, basically. If you're buying these, you may find that you might have bought one on eBay minus any wiring, and I have seen people in the past on various forums asking about how do I wire them. It's very simple, but the thing you need really is the correct connectors. When you buy these, they may have been unscrewed and cut out of old ambulances, old police cars, old search and rescue vehicles, so you won't always get the wiring loom or the pigtail. And a pigtail is a short piece of loom that you can buy and then you add to that, but you can't get them for this model. So this particular siren controller or siren amplifier uses the AMP style connector. It's a Mate N Lok 9-pole connector. So if you Google 9-pin or 9-pole Mate N Lok connector, you'll find them. The connector is very specific, as when you turn the plug round, the actual pins are keyed. So you've got a square edge on one, a square bottom. That there is to protect the polarity, to make sure that you don't wire them in back to front and you don't blow up the controller itself. So this is the 9-pin Mate N Lok, very affordable, very easy to get hold of. This is the 2-pin Mate N Lok, so they will only go into the amplifier one way. And after this particular video, I will give you death by PowerPoint on a little presentation at a tail on to the end of this video, talking through the wiring steps, etc. You've also got a fuse connection on there, and then you've got a positive or negative trigger. You've got a hole in the bottom of the enclosure. That hole is actually a 5-pin connector which went for its microphone. This controller or amplifier is very similar to Federal Signal amplifiers that I've had from the late 80s, early 90s. So the 5-pin connector itself is tucked away in there, and if you've got a good eye and you've worked with electronics for many years, you may recognize that as a 4-pin or a 5-pin S-video connector. It's different than the old mouse and keyboard plugs for PCs. It's an S-video connector, and on the bottom of the connector there's a very specific small flat rectangular key to ensure the plug goes in the right way. With the actual connector in that, it's very hard to actually obtain and get a microphone nowadays with that connector. What you can do, if you're very good at electronics and you're very confident, if you undo the screws on the enclosure and take the lid off, undo some more screws and remove the circuit board PCB, if you desolder that connector, and then you're very good at finding out how to connect a different connector, you can do so at your own risk. I'm not going to give a wiring diagram on that because it defeats the purpose of the controller, And if you're not very good at electronics, you could cook it, blow it all up and waste your money. But the connector in question is a GX16 4-pole connector. This is a very common connector found in modern day and even CBs from the 1980s. It's a 4-pin 4-pole connector. I've used these in many of my electronics projects in 2-pole variants for charging plugs, etc. But it's a GX16. This is the chassis mount socket, or the plug, because it's a male. But funnily enough, the hole, the aperture on the front of the Siren amplifier will exactly fit. I'll just turn the camera around and just hold it, but it will exactly fit. When you remove the PCB connector, you can actually put this socket directly into the front of that without having to drill it. Take the nut off the back, put some Loctite around it, and you can bolt this one straight into that. Wire the 4 pins on that into the circuit board of the controller, and then just use a basic CB microphone, and that will work as your PA system. But a very short video and an introduction to the Sterling Siren controller. Brilliant controller, brilliant British company when they were running, but unfortunately they're now longer around. But if you have any questions on this, feel free to comment in the video. If you like the content that you're seeing, please support the channel and subscribe. It really means a lot. If I can ask a few favours, watch the video in full. Also look at my playlists for other videos. Watch them for as long as you can, because YouTube counts the algorithms in seconds and minutes. And the more watch hours I can get, then I'll start to be able to support my channel a little more, and also to produce more content. But that's the controller. I'll now leave you with a presentation at the end of this video, which you can use to as a tool, and you can watch it, you can pause it, and then you can learn about wiring the connectors also. But yeah, hit subscribe, give the bell icon a press. That will send you notifications when new videos are published. Give the video a thumbs up, thumbs down if you don't like it. Share it with your friends. And thank you very much for watching AW Services.